Hello, everyone. I'm Scott Jorgens from Endeavour Solutions, Director of Marketing here. Online with us is also Mark and Jason. We'll do introductions when we get over to their side. Our agenda is to talk about Insight software and specifically Jet Reports and Jet Analytics. Endeavor's been working with Jet Reports for a long time. We really enjoy the tool set, as do a number of our clients. Jet Reports have been very strong in the Dynamics Nav world, and given that Business Central has a history in Nav, Jet Reports have been working very strongly with Business Central. We do have some Dynamics GP clients that are using Jet Reports, though it's hard to compete when it's free from Management Reporter and previously FRX, and obviously your various smart lists within Dynamics GP. That being said, if you do have a consideration of moving from Dynamics GP to Business Central in the future, Jet Reports might be something to consider now as a tool to help bridge that gap, because you swap out the back end, remap, and you can still use the same reporting and look and feel. When we move to Jet Analytics is essentially the same as Jet Reports, but it comes with its own analytics database. And that's where you can store historic data. So if you want to have data from GP stored within your reporting system, Jet Analytics may be a good option. And then you have that historical data stored as you focus and move towards Business Central. For those that are on Dynamics GP and staying there, Jet Reports and Jet Analytics may still be of interest to you. Today's focus is going to be a bias towards Business Central. For those that are in Business Central joining us today and Dynamics Nav, thanks so much. If you are current clients using Jet Reports, we're going to have some tips and tricks today as well. And then the third icon down on the bottom for Insight software is BizView, and this is a new application that Insight software acquired and has integrations with Jet Reports and Jet Analytics for planning, budgeting, and all the workflow components. So I've basically covered off our agenda. I've had the introductions. Jet Reports, Jet Hub, and Jet Analytics will be covered by the rest of the team. We'll do our demo and tips and tricks. I will talk about confidential pricing at the end, and then we'll obviously have next steps. The confidential reporting will not be included in recording, so take notes, or obviously reach out to the Endeavour team, and we'll be able to walk you through the pricing for what's in. So Mark, I'm going to make you a presenter, and you can take on, why don't you introduce yourself while this is up, and
okay,
take on the components.
Perfect. All right, let me see here. Hitting share my screen, make sure that shows up all right.
Okay, so I'm back to the beginning screen. I think you got to advance it over to
there we go.
About You. There we go.
There we go.
And I'm going to turn off my camera just to allow for more space on everyone. All right. Why don't you, Mark and Jason, when we do our introductions now, and then we can turn off our cameras just to make the screen bigger for everyone else.
You can do. All right. Well, hey, thank you very much, Scott, for the introduction, and thanks for having us, as well as all the attendees today. Thanks for taking some time out of your day to understand your options when it comes to reporting out of Dynamics. We're excited to show you our reporting and analytics solution that we've built for Microsoft Dynamics. As Scott mentioned, my name is Mark Apicella, and I'm a channel manager here at Insight Software, working with our partners and clients to address their reporting, analytics, and budgeting gaps. I'm joined today by Jason Carter, who is an excellent senior solutions engineer with over 25 years of experience within the Dynamics space. He also has experience working with Microsoft as a GP specialist, so he's an excellent resource for any technical questions you may have. Today, we're going to talk about our Microsoft Dynamics offering. I plan to give you a feel for what these tools look like in action. We'll build some reports from scratch, both financial and operational, and we'll look at modifying our pre-built reports that come ready to go out of the box and make sure you have a good understanding of how our solutions work with your data. All right, I'm going to go ahead and swap off my screen, my webcam, so that you can see more screen. So first, I'd just like to give an introduction to our organization so you can understand Insight Software's mission and why we're here today. Insight Software Solutions are purpose-built to help the office of the CFO connect and make sense of their data. Our goal is to tackle the complicated task of getting your enterprise data into your hands so that you can make better business decisions. We have a global presence, over 500,000 daily users, and our solutions are compatible with over 150 ERPs. And for the Microsoft Dynamics space, that's going to be the Jet suite of applications. All right, so this is a quick slide of our top 500 customers with Jet. As you can see with Jet, our customers are across all industries and sizes. And that is because Jet is flexible, scalable, and will grow with you as your organization grows. You also do not have to worry about Jet becoming obsolete, as we are Microsoft certified. When Microsoft went to the cloud with Business Central, for instance, they gave us a call and we built a custom connector for Business Central along with our other Dynamics connectors, which allowed our existing clients to continue using their existing Jet licenses at no additional cost. And Scott briefly mentioned that before. You're able to continue using the same Jet license no matter how, what Dynamics ERP that you're on or where you're going to. We also have a big presence within Dynamics with lots of support, and that as the Jet suite of products has lived in the Dynamics space for the last 20 years, Jet really is the go-to application for Dynamics users to get more out of their data and make better data-driven decisions. So why do customers invest in Jet products? By providing our customers with real-time reporting tools and on-demand analytics, we can help organizations gain better business insights to help them make decisions in real time based on data rather than based on a gut feel. We have seen our customers improve their margins by increasing revenue and minimizing costs time and time again, so that users can spend time analyzing reports rather than spending their entire day creating and designing reports. This also reduces risks by minimizing errors and staying in compliance with different agencies. All right, so this is our first solution within our Jet suite of products. It's Jet Reports. This is our real-time reporting tool that lives in Excel and connects directly to your ERP. It lets you quickly and easily build reports directly in Excel, drill down into those numbers, and refresh reports to pull in the latest data. This also eliminates errors associated with copying and pasting or with manual exports. And the beauty of Jet Reports is that if the data is located in your ERP, Jet would be able to access it. And that's because our custom connectors for Dynamics will expose all your tables and fields in your ERP, whether it's financial or operational. And then now another product that comes with every Jet license is the Jet Hub. And the Jet Hub is a cloud-based document repository for your Jet reports. Users can upload and access their reports anywhere, anytime, on any device. You can also automate tasks such as report refreshes and distribution, as well as secure and govern your reports within the Jet Hub. Next, we have Jet Analytics. And Jet Analytics is our flagship business intelligence solution that comes in the form of a pre-built data warehouse in cubes. It allows for easy reporting and dashboarding in Excel and Power BI, or really any visualization tool you prefer. You don't have to use just Jet with it. You can use other visualization tools. And with analytics, users don't have to understand the underlying database schema of their ERP, which allows users to build out complex reports and dashboards within seconds, regardless of how many fields, tables, or databases you wish to report against. And because of this, I've seen a lot of customers and clients use analytics for lots of different business cases. One of the methods is, as Scott mentioned, it's a way for you to import your legacy data and your new data into a single source of truth. Or if you have complex reports, or if you're trying to consolidate multiple data sources or tie together multiple fields or multiple tables, this is going to make it a lot easier for the end user, empowering more users in your organization to create ad hoc reports and dashboards. All right, so the next slide here, I'd like to show a little bit more about the data model that comes with Jet Analytics. This flagship business intelligence solution comes in the form of a pre-built data warehouse in cubes, and business intelligence at its core means presenting data in a way that's actionable. With Jet Analytics, we're going to pull in the data from your ERP, as well as other, I think I skipped 2 slides, sorry about that. With Jet Analytics, we're going to pull in the data from your ERP as well as other data sources if you have them. And we're going to pull we're going to put that into, we're going to organize that data in a way that's optimized for reporting. The end user doesn't have to understand the underlying schema of their ERP to build out complex reports and dashboards. So we'll start here with your database, which is a complex web of tables and fields that have specific relationships between them. Reporting directly against the database can be complicated. You need to know what table that the data lives in within your database, and it gets even more complicated if you need to report on data from multiple tables or data sources in one report. So we've simplified it to make it easier on the end user. Starting with the data source, data is loaded into data warehouse, where we organize it by subject matter, tying relevant data together. You can imagine this as an Amazon warehouse where we're going to sort items in that warehouse so it's easy to locate. And then we take that level of interactivity a step further with our pre-built cubes. And out of the box with Jet, we have cubes for things like finance, inventory, purchasing, and more. With the cubes, we add dimensionality, which will allow you to interact with the data, twist it, turn it, slice and dice it however you want to see what's important to you. Everything within the cubes is pre-calculated, which helps with performance and speed. And we can also build in custom KPIs to ensure that everyone is accessing one version of the truth rather than having those KPIs siloed across different versions of different spreadsheets. Since we work with thousands of Dynamics clients, we were able to develop a comprehensive pre-built projects, and we find that about 90% of what Dynamics users need for reporting is already mapped out within these projects. So our Jet Analytics clients, they would get this pre-built project on day one of installation, and then the other 10% is going to be for any sort of client-specific customizations. All right, so next I'm going to zoom out and show the back-end flow diagram of our data transformation. On the left side here, we have all of our data sources. So this is how we're going to be able to, these are the data sources that I wish to report against. So it doesn't have to be just one data source. So here's your main ERP, your Microsoft Dynamics database. Say you want to bring in your legacy data, and maybe you have another CRM, another data source that you want to report on. So we can pull all of this data into our Jet Data Manager. And the Jet Data Manager is our ETL tool. ETL stands for extract, transform, and load. So the first set of arrows is going to be the extraction piece. The middle section is the transformation piece, where we go from raw ERP data to that of one unified data set. And then the last section is the load piece, where you pick your front-end tool to digest the information that's important to you. And you can pick whatever front-end tool you prefer, like Excel or Power BI. The real value you'll find here is in the optimized data model that streamlines and speeds up reporting. So a lot of our clients that are migrating to the cloud, instead of migrating their data from their legacy database to their new database, they just load it into the data warehouse in cubes and then create their Jet reports off of the cubes. And then once they implement Business Central or that new ERP, they don't have to rewrite their reports, as that data is just going to be blended with their legacy data. All right, so where is this data warehouse in cubes hosted? When looking at analytics, we do have, there we go. We do have two options when considering hosting the data warehouse in cubes. The first option is for you to provide hosting on one of your own servers. Endeavour can also help with that, but we also have a Jet Analytics Cloud option on a SaaS model, where we would host the data warehouse in cubes for you in Azure Cloud in region hosting. All right, and with that, I'd love to jump out of the slides and do a live demonstration of Jet here. So let me go ahead, and first, I'd like to point out on our website, we do have a library of sample reports that come out of the box with every Jet license. So we have over, for Business Central, for instance, we have over 100 sample reports, and we continue to add to those often as well. I think right now we're working on adding some more dashboards to this. So within our sample reports, we have financial reports, we have operational reports, as you can see here, sales dashboard, income statements. I'm going to go ahead and show a few of these that we have. So this is one of our sample reports that come out of the box. It's a consolidated profit and loss by company. Before I jump into this report, I'd like to point out the Jet ribbon. So right now I'm in what's called a viewer mode, and as I can see that I have a new section in my Excel ribbon, and this is the Jet Reports Excel add-in. So all Jet Reports is just providing a direct connection between Excel, your front-end user interface, and your ERP. There's not going to be an intermediary step between it. So with the Data Mart and Management Reporter, we don't have that here with Jet Reports. It's a direct connection. So that helps with any sort of performance issues that you may see with Data Mart crashing. I know that I hear that often with some of our Management Reporter clients, not everyone, but that's something that you don't see with Jet Reports. So as a viewer license, I can open this report. I can run reports to refresh reports to pull in the latest data. I'll go ahead and hit the run button, and you'll notice that I have some report options that pop up. These report options, as a viewer license, I can go ahead and change this report to see the filters that I'd like to see, and these filters are also customizable by a designer license. So I can go ahead and, if I wanted to change my dates here, I can change that here. If I wanted to change if I wanted to filter on a certain company or a certain department, I could do that. So let's go ahead and just filter on the USA company. When I click run, maybe there was a transaction posted a few minutes ago. Jet just accessed my ERP, loaded my real-time data, grabbed that new posted transaction and updated this report to just show the USA company. I'm going to go back here and I'm going to rerun this report for both companies to show how this report has been written. So the way that this sample report's been written is that I have my companies separated out across each column, and Jet is bringing in my GL information here. So my sales information broken by company is going to be loaded by Jet. If I were to add a new company into my ERP, when I hit refresh, Jet would automatically refresh the report and create a new column for that company. That's because we have replicator tools in here that allow me to replicate companies across columns. I can also replicate across sheets. So if I were to add a new company, there'd be a new sheet here as well. When I click into the company sheet, you'll see that my departments have the same replicator to it. So if I were to add a new department, this report would automatically update to include that new department in a new column. Once again, Jet's bringing in my GL information. And then in the consolidated column on the right side, I just have an Excel formula summing all of these columns together. So you can blend together Excel functionality with Jet functionality to put in the calculations that are required for your reports. All right, finally, as a viewer license, I can also drill down into any number that Jet is bringing in. So I'm going to go ahead here and click this drill down button next to the sales for retail of North America. And when I click drill down, it's going to pull up a grid view of my transactions. So I'm able to see each individual transaction. I can drill down to the transactional level detail within grid view. Within grid view, I can sort this information how I'd like to see it. I can also group things with our grouping tool. I can also export it to its own Excel spreadsheet and report off of the transactional level detail as well. All right, so next report I have here, once again, I'm in viewer mode. In a second, I'll go ahead and build some reports from scratch, but I just wanted to show one of our other sample reports that we have out of the box. This is one of our operational reports, so Jet can access both GL and operational data. When I go ahead and look at this report, it's a top 10 customer sales. I have graphs and titles. Jet is bringing in my customer number, name, salesperson. These percentages, once again, I'm blending together Excel formulas with Jet functionality so I can bring in whatever calculations that I would need to see. My sales information is being brought in by Jet. I can drill down into those numbers. Variance is just an Excel formula here. As a viewer, if I go ahead and hit run, I can see that I have some different report options built in. I can filter on my top number of customers, report date, customer numbers, salesperson. So if I was an individual contributor and I wanted to see my top 10 customers, I could easily do that. let's go ahead and just look at our top 5. So I'll go ahead and key in top 5 customers, and this report automatically updates all the graphs, the titles, and the report to just show my top 5. So we have a lot of power with what your viewers can see when it comes to modifying those report options that are in a report. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and open up a new spreadsheet here. I'm going to go to my jet ribbon, and you can see that the jet ribbon looks a little different now, and that's because I'm in design mode. So here I'm in design mode. Within design mode, I have a lot of different tools and functionality to bring in different types of data. Along the top, if I go ahead and scroll over here, we have the Jet Hub. I mentioned that in our slide deck a little bit earlier. That's that document repository where we're able to store Jet reports. We'll go ahead and show the Jet Hub a little bit later in this presentation. But if you don't have the Jet Hub installed, or if you don't have it set up, we do have another option to share and automate tasks. We have the scheduler tool. This is a little bit different because it's going to be installed on a user's machine. But you can still automate tasks with the scheduler tool to update a single report or a batch of reports to a certain file location in any format that you prefer. So if they don't have a Jet license, they can still read the Jet report as a static file or as a static report. Here you can set your frequency that you'd like to send it out, as well as if you would like to send it to an email distribution list. So a lot of different ways to share and refresh reports automatically. Going back to our tools here, on the left side, I have my different Jet functions. They are going to have a different purpose. For instance, the GL function is going to return GL information. Another way to get GL information is using the Fast Financials tool. This is going to be the quickest and easiest way for you to build out a GL report. So first step with Fast Financials, I click the button and then I have this window pop up. This is a live window into my ERP showing all of my accounts. First, I'm going to select what columns I'd like to include. So I'm going to use my account number. I'm going to bring in my name, the account name, amount, and budget. I can include calculated values like variance and variance percent. I'm going to go ahead here and include some column headers, and then I'm just going to scroll down to the accounts that I wish to report against. So let's go down and let's build out a PL style report. So I'm going to start off with account number 40,000, my revenue, and then I'm going to go down to my total revenue, shift click to grab that range of accounts. Once your accounts are selected, I'm just going to drag and drop that directly into my Excel spreadsheet. And the Fast Financials tool is going to build a Jet report for me here. All right, next I'm going to finish building out this report, including my cost of goods sold. And I'm going to scroll all the way down to my net income and shift click to bring in all those accounts. And then I'm just going to drag and drop that in the spreadsheet where I'd like to see it. So let's go ahead and put that under the total revenue. And what Jet is doing now is it's accessing my ERP, as well as building out some default report options that are default to Fast Financials. And now that that is completed, I do have a completed Jet report here ready to be ran, ready to be shared. Let's go ahead and, since we're in Excel, we can go ahead and format this how I'd like to see it. All right, so if I'm going to go ahead and hit run on this, you can see that once again, as a viewer, I can go ahead and filter on any of these report options. If I'd like to modify these report options, I can do that here. But say I want to hard code my date, maybe I want to format this a little bit differently. I can just go right here to the start date. I can either filter it with the filters that I have, or I can hard code it directly into the spreadsheet. So when I update the dates, the data has been updated to just show January data. Maybe I want to see the next month here. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste those columns over. Change my dates using some Excel formulas to make this easier on me. So now I have February data, and let's go ahead and copy and paste those columns to get this broken down month by month. And with that, I have a completed amount versus budget across several months built very quickly. I can go ahead and run this report to pull in the latest data. But you can go ahead and format this report however you'd like. If you want to change the dates, if you want to compare to last year, it's as simple as adding a new column and changing those dates there. All right, let's go back to design mode and look at another one of our tools. Let's go ahead and open up the Report Wizard tool. So the Report Wizard tool is going to be a nice step-by-step guide to build out any sort of financial or operational report. The first wizard step is to select my data source, company, and table. So when I go ahead and open this table list, you'll see that all of my tables in my ERP are going to be exposed. That's because our custom connector connected directly to the data source is going to expose all tables and fields within Dynamics. This list is a bit long, so if you're not familiar with your data structure, this could be, and if you're trying to create a complex report, this might be an overwhelming list, and that's where Jet Analytics would come in. As I mentioned before, with Jet Analytics, we're going to organize and optimize this data so that's much easier for reporting. So instead of looking through all of these tables, you're going to see maybe a list of 8 cubes to choose from. But if you just have Jet reports, we do make it easy to search for tables. So if I want to go ahead and search for a certain table, I can just type it in. I can also favorite my tables that I often report out of. So I can create a list of favorites. So let's go ahead and connect to the customer table since I'm familiar with the data in there. And let's build a report from there. Next, I'm going to select what fields I'd like to include on my report. I can go ahead and add in my customer number. Let's go ahead and add the customer name. Once again, all of my fields in this table are going to be exposed with Jet. So I'd be able to get, if the data is in your ERP, you'd be able to access it. All right, let's throw in sales and salesperson code. So now I have the list of fields I'd like to include on my report. I can go ahead and change the order over here. Once I'm satisfied with that, I'm going to go ahead and add some filters to the report. So let's go ahead and add a filter on state. Maybe I'm going to distribute this report to different regional managers throughout my organization, and I want them to be able to filter on the states that are of interest to them. So we'll do that. Once I'm good there, I'm going to go ahead and group this report, add the grouping. So we can go ahead and group this report by state. So all my states are going to be grouped together, all the customers within that state. And then here we're going to be adding some sorting. So this is going to be how I'm going to sort the data within those groups. So let's choose sales amounts in descending order. So I have my top sales first. Here I'm just going to be adding a grand total for numerical fields at the bottom of my report. So I'll select that option. We're going to add some basic Excel formatting here so I don't have to spend as much time formatting the report. And then finally is the review and finish pane where we can review what fields we're going to include, how we're going to sort it, group it, total it, as well as what states filters we have. All right, when I go ahead and click finish, the report wizard tool has built a Jet report for me, very quick and easy. Now that I'm here, I do have some basic formatting, but I can go ahead and finish formatting this how I'd like to see it. So let's go ahead and add some shading. Let's add a dollar value, units of measure for my sales amounts there. And now that I'm satisfied with formatting, I can go ahead and run this report to get my customer list. Here you can see that I can filter on any state that is of interest to me, but I'll include all of them for this report. When I click run, once again, I'm going to be accessing Dynamics, getting that real-time data. I have the ability to drill down into any of these sales numbers. And I have a completed list of all of my customers grouped by state with their total sales amounts. And at the bottom, I have my grand total here. So once again, very quick and easy to grab this list of customer information with the Report Wizard tool. But say that you're trying to combine multiple tables or multiple databases, multiple data sources, or have a more complex report that I want to be able to easily slice and dice on, and I don't want to spend as much time searching through my ERP native data structure. Let's go ahead and start building some reports off of the data warehouse in cubes. So now I'm going to show Jet Analytics. As a reminder, Jet Analytics Here we go. I'm going to be reporting out of the cubes or out of the data warehouse for an optimized data model. And this can be multiple tables combined into the cubes, multiple data sources. I don't need to know where my data is coming from. I'm just going to go ahead and select a cube that I want to report out of. So let's go ahead here. Let's switch my data source to the cubes. So instead of connecting directly to my ERP, I'm going to be accessing Jet Analytics Data Warehouse and Cubes. I'm going to go ahead and insert a pivot table. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do with this is I'm going to select which cube I'd like to report out of. So instead of a long list of tables like you saw earlier, I'm just going to select one of these cubes. And these are the cubes that come out of the box with Jet Analytics. So on day one of installation, this is what you would get. Let's go ahead and connect to the sales cube. All of my relevant sales information is going to be stored in this cube over here. And on the right side, you can see my cube contents. At the top, we have measures. Measures are going to be numerical values. So things like sales amounts, percentages, cost, your custom KPIs, you can build them into this cube. So if you have a KPI that you're specific to your organization, we can throw that in here. So that everyone's accessing, one version of the truth. And then at the bottom, I have my measures. And measures are going to be anything that gives meaning to those values. So things like customer information, my global dimensions in my ERP is going to be a dimension within the cube, item information, posting dates. So in order to build a report off of the cubes, I'm just going to select some measures. So let's go up to my measures here. Let's select some of these. So I'm going to put in sales, cost, profit percent. And you can see that these values have been loaded into my report very quickly. And that's because these values are pre-calculated in the cubes and they're ready to be thrown into any report without needing to query my database. And that's because my database has already been queried. So that data is pre-calculated. And we do see performance improvements when refreshing reports off of the cubes versus directly to your database. Might not be an issue for smaller reports, but for more complex reports, this is where Jet Analytics helps out with that too. All right, next I'm just going to go ahead and select some measures to finish building this report. So let's go ahead and add item information. Let's do posting date. So with a few clicks of a button, I have already created a very comprehensive sales report. I can go ahead and drill down to the individual item and see that individual item's profit percent. I can still drill down into any number. So if I go ahead and double click on this, I can see transactional level detail. And you can drill down, this can be coming from multiple data sources. So I don't have to go drilling down into each data source that I have to see that transactional level detail. I have that all within Excel with Jet Analytics. It's all been queried and stored in here for me. All right, next, if I want to make this report modifiable, I can go ahead and add some slicers so I can slice and dice this information. So let's go ahead and add a slicer for posting date. Let's say here I want to also add a slicer for my salesperson. And maybe I have multiple companies in my ERP and I have an issue with consolidated versus a company report. So let's add that slicer as well. All right, so if I wanted to see my USA company, I can easily do that, filter there. Wanted to see my UK company, I can filter on that. If I wanted to see Linda's numbers between 2020 and 2021, I can easily just select those slicers and create a custom report with a few clicks of a button there. All right, and because I'm in Excel, I can put in any sort of graphs or charts to make it look more of a dashboard feel within Excel. And with that, I have completed a sales report built off of the cubes. Because I have multiple data sources or multiple tables tied together in this cube, it does make it a lot easier and faster for reporting. And I see a lot of folks, and this really does empower more users in an organization to create the ad hoc reports that they need, rather than going to the report writer or to IT to try to figure out how to create a report. This is going to make it very turnkey solution with less training required to build out these reports. All right, so as I mentioned before, we can go ahead and connect the cubes to Excel, but we can also connect it to any other visualization tool like Power BI. So let's go ahead and open up Power BI. The first thing that I hear a lot of folks say when they're using Power BI for reporting is that it is a very manual and labor-intensive process to map in the data. But with Jet Analytics, we've already done that labor-intensive process of mapping in the data with our pre-built cube. And also, because we have the Jet Data Manager, it's not a time-intensive process for us. The Jet Data Manager, our ETL tool, is an IT function. And so if you need to bring in another field and you want to customize it, it's a drag and drop interface that automatically writes SQL code for the IT folks. So it's about 5 to 7 times faster than traditional mapping methods. So you're really, combined with our pre-built project and our ETL tool, we're able to deploy a data warehouse in cubes very quickly for a fraction of the cost of trying to do this manually. All right, so if I'm going to go ahead and connect to the cubes, I'm going to go ahead here and select Analysis Services. And I'm just going to select the cube that I'd like to dashboard off of. So I'm going to go ahead, here's our pre-built project, the same project you saw in Excel. I'm going to go ahead and connect to the same sales cube. And you'll see that the same measures and dimensions that were available in Excel are going to be here in Power BI. So it's a data structure that I already understand and I'm familiar with, and it's easy to access. So what we're doing with our pre-built project, if we look at our data model on the left side, this is not something that the end user needs to understand or know about, but I just wanted to point out that this is what our pre-built project is. We're creating all of these relations and we're mapping all of this data together. And this is what you would get on day one. So trying to do this manually is a very, once again, labor and time intensive process. But we're able to install this on day one. And I've actually don't recommend it. I have seen one customer just use the pre-built project with no customizations, but typically we do have, some additional fields that you want to report against, so we can bring that in. And you can also manage this in-house. You can job shadow engineers during implementation to learn the Jet Data Manager to be able to create your own custom data mapping projects. All right, so within Power BI, I'm going to do the same thing, just select some measures and dimensions to start creating a dashboard. The front end user interface for this dashboarding tool is very intuitive and very easy to pick up. It's just that mapping the data in is difficult. So when you combine Jet Analytics with Power BI, you really do create a robust dashboarding tool. We like to think that we enhance Power BI rather than compete with it. So let's go ahead and add some sales by salesperson. I have my sales by year over here. Let's go ahead and add sales by item. Let's throw that in on a pie chart. Maybe I want to see geographically what my profitability is. Let's go ahead and add profit by city. And we can throw that in on a map. Make this very nice visualization dashboard there. Here we go. And then maybe I want to add in some KPIs. So let's go ahead and add a KPI tile of our profit percent. Maybe we want to add our total profit. And maybe we do sales. As mentioned before, we're able to build in custom KPIs. So things like profit percent, this is not native in your ERP. This is a custom calculation that we built into our pre-built project. If you have other KPIs that you'd like to build in, we can do that. All right, now we have a completed dashboard here. Power BI is powerful because this dashboard is interactive. I can go ahead and click each item category and all the tiles update, the maps update. I can see each specific year, for each salesperson. I can even drill down into, so let's say I want to drill down into this category here. I can see what my top products are within that. So I can get a lot of very good visibility into my organization with just a few clicks of a button and with this interactive map here, interactive map dashboard for it. All right. And with that, I have concluded the front-end reporting capabilities of Jet Reports and Jet Analytics. So I just show the differences between connecting directly to your ERP with Jet Reports, as well as reporting off of the data warehouse in cubes with Jet Analytics. Now I'm going to go ahead and show how you can go ahead and share those Jet Reports with Jason Carter here. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and swap over the screen. So
Jason, you ready to accept it? Great. I see the Jet Hub.
I see it too. All right. Thank you very much, Jason and Scott.
All right. So the one piece we'll kind of wrap up here is just talking about how you share reports that the designers have built. And Power BI, of course, has the mechanism for that. If you've built a dashboard in Power BI through the powerbi.com service, anybody that has a license, you can share those. What Jet has within the hub is the capability to handle this for Excel-based reports. And Excel is familiar, it's easy to use, people in accounting and finance love it. For all of the wonderful positives of it, the challenge can be version control, security, scheduling, distribution, those types of things. And that's where the Jet Hub comes in. So reports like Mark has just been building, certainly he could email me a report like that, but if there's a modification of that report, in the future, do I have the right version when I want to go back and run it again? The other way that he can share that with the scheduler built right into Excel or the hub, and this is what I've opened up here. So this is an intranet site. I can be in Chrome, I can be in Edge, I could be in Safari. I don't need the Excel template. I have the template now available via a browser. So I've got libraries of them around D365, PC, and FNSCM. I've got them around GP, Nav. If we just take a look at individual templates, so this may be a report that Mark built and uploaded this. I can now, from a browser, without needing the workbook, I can run a report. And any filters that he may have set within the template as he designed it in Excel, those pass through here when I run this as a browser, as does security, by the way. So the security, when we talk about Business Central, it's tied right into my BC user, and that passes through to when I run it here in the hub. So I can't change this report and filter to look at data that I don't have rights to. If I do, I get back an empty report, just like I would in Excel when I'm connected to that data. So a run of that report took 11 seconds there. That's updated. It's in a browser. So I can come out here and access the library of reports. I can see the ones that have just been shared with me. Right? There may be 50 reports that we've uploaded to our hub, but there's a half a dozen, or there's 10 of them that are specific to my area in the company, so I come right to those reports and I can run them on demand. The hub also, though, has scheduling. So these may have been scheduled to run at 5 a.m. this morning. They're all waiting for me when I come out here. Or part of that scheduling was scheduling them to distribute via email. So they're sent to any Jet designer, any Jet viewer, or it opens it up very easily to send them to people who are not Jet or Dynamics users at all. Right? And they just get the latest data, the latest version of that report. So here I'm running it on demand, just to show you a couple things. If I open up this, any one of these templates, let me go into where I've got some that I've been running for a while, not one that we just built here. A few things that the Jet Hub does for me also, it keeps the history of all reports. So there's a great tip for reports that are sometimes more complicated to build. Think about historical aging reports. It's possible to build those direct off the data with the as of date and have it go back and back out invoices and apply payments. But the hub gives me the ability to do something like schedule this report. This one I've got scheduled, an aging report. It runs at 5 o'clock every day. I can come out here and look at any historical version of this report. So when I run it on demand or when it runs via schedule, we can come out here and say, I want to see that aging report as of August 31st with the data that was in the report at that date and time, and any filters that were entered when it was run. I could grab that report and bring it down as an Excel workbook locally if that's the way I want to see it, or I can stay in a browser and just look at it online. So we see a lot of times people will, if you've got a book of period and close reports, for example, people will schedule that group of reports. They're going to run on the last day of every month or the first day of the next month. And all of my core reports for a period and close now are running automatically every month. I can go back and look at that book of closing reports and see them as of October 31st and September 30th and so on. I mentioned the version control. So if an executive asks for a change in the way a report is designed, we're going to break out an income statement to make it more detailed and give a few more rows rather than groupings of accounts. If a designer makes a change, they upload the new report into the hub. For the designers out here, they'll see now we have version 2. And if the response is, oh, wait a minute, you know what, let's undo that change, then I can roll back to the prior version. So, again, great ability to manage the versions of your template, make sure everybody's on the right one, and even roll back to a prior design if you needed to. And then, of course, the scheduling area, which this is a report that's set up to just refresh within the hub every day at 5 o'clock. I can set these to many, many different frequencies. And part of this scheduling I set up on the template can be that I want to distribute it to different audiences. Maybe different versions of the report will go out to different audiences in email distribution lists. And all of that gets handled here within the hub. All right, and with that, I'll turn it back over.
Okay.
Scott, if you want to, yeah, there we go.
There we go. Thanks so much, guys. That was great, and some of the the tips and tricks aspects as well. The Jet Hub, I think, is a little bit underutilized and is a fantastic tool set for clients. So next steps. Discussion with Endeavour, and if you're ready to move ahead with Jet Reports, just let us know. We can get that pricing we just talked about in front of you and be able to set that up, and our team can do the training. There's also online training, all of those free sample reports that you can just instantly plug in. We can help you with the mapping and move those around. For those that aren't quite sure yet around Jet Reports, we can set up a discovery meeting and be able to showcase it and have some of your current processes and industry-specific data within a discussion. From there, quote, install, and training, and you can be up and running by end of year. So reach out to Endeavour. For those watching the recording, reach out to James, Trish, or Steve. For those that are live today, you can reply to the original webinar invite, and we'll be able to connect you with the right individuals and be able to help you out from there. Great. Thanks very much, Mark. Thanks, Jason.
All right, yeah, thank you, Scott.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.
You too, and thanks everyone. Have a good one.